Hi, Blake with BlvdHome, and today we're actually in somebody's home, and this home is actually Reed's home right here, and this is his brand new LG all-in-one unit. And Reed is normally our cameraman. We'll let Reed tell you all about why he bought this unit and a little bit about himself.
So yes, like you said, I'm usually behind the camera, but today I'm in front of it because I got this to sort of see how it holds up over time. And so like a 6 months later, how is it holding up type thing. Luckily, I have Blake on my team. So we're gonna take this apart and see what's inside of it, see what his concerns are. So as he's taking it apart, I'm gonna be asking him some questions as a homeowner might have for something new like this. So yeah, we'll get started. And before we get started, I would like to point out, Blake, that I read this entire thing.
You read the entire manual?
It looks a lot worse than it is because there's 3 languages, but everybody should read their user manual. The reason is because if you don't, you won't know how to use it properly. And we actually made a few mistakes on our previous video. Our testing, we said there's only 2 cycles that roll automatically over into the dry, which is true, but the rest of them can manually be selected to dry after the wash is over. Didn't know that, so we got that information wrong, but it says it right in the manual, so if we would have read that beforehand, we would have known. All right, so where do we start with taking this apart?
Well, on this machine, first thing we always have to do with most washing machines is we have to take the top off this unit.
The other thing I want to mention about the filter being on the top versus the GE and the Samsung one is that you can't stack things on top of here anymore, which is kind of weird because we said in our last video, LG's approach with this machine was a little bit different, and then they wanted it to look and integrate with their other machines. And so you'd think that they would make it stackable with like a regular dryer if you wanted to, but it's not possible with this. So one thing while he's taking this apart, I want to mention of why I chose this one over, say, the GE or the Samsung, because I really liked the GE when we did the testing on it, especially how it performed with dog hair. But as someone who cares a lot about aesthetics, just look at my current laundry room and you'll know. I like the look of this one the best out of the 3, especially the Samsung. The Samsung looks weird to me. I know some people on the internet have said they like it, but the GE does look weird as well. So that's the main reason I chose this one. And I actually chose it because I have 2 dogs. And I want to see, is it gonna struggle over time with all that dog hair? Because both of my dogs shed a lot, and you could have seen the dog hair in the test video. There's a lot of it. So will this hold up with dogs? I know the GE one would have, but I just want to see over time, is it gonna perform?
All right, let's take this top off and see what we see underneath there. Kind of standard, kind of similar to the GE units. It is definitely a lot more compact as far as how everything is in the unit. You have your right here. This is our dispenser area. This is for where our dispenser drawer goes in. All the hoses. Water valve is located here. This again, this area right here. This is the blower. This is for the dryer. This is the blower right here. This looks like our evaporator, or our condenser in this case is our condenser in this. This is what's going to get hot and where the air is going to be drawn through. So it looks like you have this big black tube right here that's drawing air from the tub, and it comes up and through here, and then it draws it through here where your condenser here is warm, and then it pulls that warm air from here and pushes it into the dryer, and it comes back around. So that's how this particular unit dries. Your compressor is located right here on this unit. It's mounted kind of interesting. They've got it mounted horizontally, but this is your compressor right here, and this is your accumulator right here. This is part of the refrigeration system. The good thing you need to know about this unit, looking at technical documentation on this unit and a few things, this, just like the GEs, the refrigeration system, if it fails, you replace it all as one piece. So it's already charged, everything is already there, can be removed, can be put in. We just did on a GE unit, we did have a system fail, and we'll talk about that in another video, where we had a heat pump system already fail on the GE all-in-ones. But the good thing about it was it came as one piece, it went in as one piece, just a lot of things to disconnect and put together. And I'm not sure how hard this one is quite yet. We'll find out here in a few minutes. The GE one was very difficult to replace. It is also very expensive. And I can't say what the LG one is, I don't know. But the GE one retail about $800 for the heat pump system for that. Fortunately, it was under warranty.
Yeah.
So.
Because the GE one has a 3-year warranty, correct?
I think it's a 5-year warranty.
5, okay.
Maybe,
and this one has a 1.
A 1, okay. But I'll have to double check on that warranty for it. But it did fail within the first year, so it did have replaced. Once we replaced it, it did fix it. But again, we'll go into that later. But yeah, so let's continue tearing this thing down and see what else we can see.
Right here, it says there's a 10-year warranty, but that is only on the motor, correct?
That is correct. The motor part only.
And then everything else, including the condenser, is a 1-year warranty. A lot of people have pointed that out as a major difference between this one and the GE, is why does the GE have a 5-year warranty and this one only a 1? That kind of makes it seem like GE has a lot more confidence in their engineering or build quality and how long it's gonna last. So it is a little bit concerning when you look at it that way, with this one only being 1. But a counter argument to that is that LG just puts 1 year on all their stuff, regardless of what it is. So take that for what you will, but those are the warranty differences between this and the GE.
Located right here on this unit, and this I can see is going to be, this is going to be fun. This right here is your pressure switch. That white piece right there is your pressure switch. That is what determines how full the machine is with water. The way that definitely is located right there, that is not an easy get to. That is for sure. They could have done a little bit better. I mean, I understand they want to keep everything and they have to maneuver everything to get everything around, but normally those are a lot more easy to access, but that is definitely a concern of mine. These pieces right here in the back of the dispenser, these are your pumps. This is what actually, for your detergent and your softener, this is why you can have the big dispensers that you can load them up. These are the devices that actually pull the soap and the fabric softener into the machine, or these little pumps right here. So that's what actually does that work. Now with this also, this is designed to be cleaned, so you can pull these out and pull these up, and these will open.
These tops will come off as well.
The tops will come off as well.
So if you ever get a clog in here, you can take this off. You actually should just take this off and rinse it, every so often.
Because fabric softener is animal fat, it will clog. That's a nice feature. I mean, that really is a nice feature, and I like how that seals in there. I like it does. You have to drop the back in like that, and drop down.
Another cool thing about this detergent dispenser is, we've talked about in previous videos how softener you shouldn't necessarily use very often.
No.
So if you don't want to use this whole left side of your dispenser, there's actually options in the LG configuration that lets you switch this to a secondary liquid detergent dispenser. So you basically convert it to be both containers are detergent instead of softener. So that's kind of cool.
Let me ask you a question, Reed. How do you feel? Because with this unit, with a lot of appliances nowadays, the use on this as far as your interface, it's very limited on what you're able to do with the unit. You have to really use the app to take full advantage of what this machine can do. You can download cycles, you can put more cycles in that you don't want. You can set certain parameters for what you want. What do you say, or what do you think as a consumer? I know you're pretty tech savvy, but for the average person that's not tech savvy, they're going to have a struggle with it. What are your feelings on that?
I feel like it definitely could be a little more intuitive. I mean, we ran into that issue ourselves of not realizing that you could dry after the wash cycle with the other cycles other than those first two, AI wash and dry and normal. So of course, everyone should just read their user manual and they would know. But as far as like the app goes, I mean, for me, it's not a big deal. I plan on using the app anyway. But I could see a lot of users with this machine having difficulty with like the user experience or navigating, figuring out how to do certain things. I'd definitely like to see, instead of them having the option to add the dry after the other cycles, I think they should all just default to rollover. And then if you need it to not, then you can, pause it, have it pause or something. Like if you need to take something out so it doesn't shrink in the dry cycle.
Correct.
Or whatever.
So, all right, let's tear this thing down some more. Let's take the front of this thing off and see what we can see.
Okay. As you're taking this apart, again, I want to ask, I'm not sure where I'm going to put this yet, because as it's a new type of technology, you could say, I'm not sure how my wife and I are going to like it, or if it runs into issues and we don't want to fix it. We're going to keep Bernard and Betsy just in case. So, but with that in mind, our idea is we kind of want to put it in our walk-in closet and keep our current set where it's at because it looks so beautiful. So, and that's the advantage of this washer and why I want to put it in the closet, because it doesn't need a vent. So that's, it feels a little bit weird putting it into the laundry room where there's a vent and it doesn't need one, when you could take advantage of that and put it somewhere where it doesn't need it. But my question is, in the user manual, it says don't put it in the humid area. Our walk-in closet is like right across from our shower, and taking showers creates a lot of humidity. Is that going to cause problems?
You're going to have a lot more condensation because you have to remember this, again, this is a heat pump. It's refrigeration in reverse. So with the refrigerator, your condenser gets warm and the evaporator gets cold, which is inside. So if you've ever had a door leak inside your refrigerator or something where you have lots of moisture, you know how frosty your freezer gets. Well, all of that water that it creates, because it's going to create frost, just like anything else, that's going to melt off, and it's got to be able to get rid of it. So if you have too much of a humid area, it can't get rid of the moisture as easily. So it's harder for it to work, and it's harder for it to do its job. Just like if your temperature is too low, like if you have this outside and the temperature is too low, it will have an adverse effect on how well the heat pump works. Or if it can be too hot, it could also have an adverse effect on how well the heat pump.
So the concern with a humid area is more on how it performs versus, like, my concern was, is it going to cause a problem with like the electrical panel? And
No.
that's going to fail.
No.
Okay.
No. On the back side of this, this is our knob board right here. This is what the front of the board runs. This board here is our display user interface right here on the back side of this board. This right here is your door lock. This is pretty standard for the LGs and the way they all look. This is pretty standard for them. So this is kind of what it looks like on the back side. Nothing too scary, nothing too big a change there. So
If one of those panels, the electronics fails, how expensive or easy are those to swap out?
well, it's fairly easy to swap out. I mean, if you know how to take it apart, it doesn't take a whole lot. The boards, I would have to look up, but as far as replacing them, they're pretty easy to replace. It's just cost-wise, it varies all the time, with electronics. Let's get down to the nuts and bolts of this thing. Okay. This is our pump clean out. This is when you pull the flapper door where your filter is, right down there. This is really nice. I wish all manufacturers put a clean out down here because it would save so many problems. This is a dual pump. Half of the pump is over here. This pump over here runs up and is your recirculating pump, what recirculates the water back into the machine. The other pump on this side is your drain pump. This is what drains it to the outside of the home. This is kind of interesting, and it looks like they put the control board for the whole unit right down here. That's not my favorite. I'm not sure that I really like that being there, but because that used to be up here in the corner, kind of where the compressor sits, but they have to move something. So our control board is down here at the bottom now. So I guess if it ever leaks, it leaks on your control board.
You're a fan of LG's washers in general. They've made it to the top, in our top 3. Anytime we do a top 3 washers, LG's always in it. But the elephant in the room is that they're not so credible on their refrigerators, and this unit introduces a refrigeration problem, potential problem, into one of their best performing appliances.
That is true. I have to agree with you on that. This does create that problem, but LG says they have their problems fixed. Again, time will tell, so I'm going to hope for the best, cross my fingers for the best. I don't push for extended warranties, but I'll be straight up with you that if I purchase this for my home, being so new and worried about the compressors and a few other things, I would definitely purchase an extended warranty. Strictly for the fact is that whole refrigeration system has to be replaced no matter what you do. If something fails in it, you have to replace it. And if you have to replace it, it's going to be at least, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be at least $600 for the part alone. And that's not including labor or anything else.
And do you know how much the extended warranty is?
The extended warranties can run anywhere, for how many years. They can run anywhere from $100 or less, for a 1-year warranty, or they can run up to $200 or $300 for a 5-year warranty. But again, $200 or $300 is nothing compared to what you're going to be paying if it fails. Mm-hmm. So this being so new, I would probably recommend to anybody to get an extended warranty with this. I'm not worried about the washing part of it at all, because that's what I'm not worried about. I'm just worried about how the refrigeration side, or the heat pump side, excuse me, I keep saying refrigeration, but it is refrigeration. The heat pump side is going to work in this unit and how well it's going to hold up over time. And I have that same concern with GE with theirs. That is a concern. It's not just LG, it's anybody with a heat pump system. It's a concern. It looks like, again, if you were to cover that top piece and remove this and the control wasn't here, it would look just like an LG machine. It looks just like any one that's been built for the last, couple of years. It looks very similar. With very little change. So that's very encouraging, from a service standpoint, that it is still the same product as far as from about the first little bit down. It's pretty similar. So okay, let's take apart the back. Let's take a look what we have back here. So this is the back of the machine. Now this, definitely interesting on the back of this machine. They've definitely made the tub, because normally these back panels aren't this deep. They're not normally this deep. It's usually pretty flush with this as far as how deep it is. You don't have this big bulging piece behind it like this is. So I can see how because like I said, it looked a little bit smaller as far as diameter, but I can see how they made up the difference. Is basically, they've made it deeper. They've definitely made the unit deeper, and the motor kind of sits in a different spot too. As far as usually this motor is sitting, this is a direct drive motor, and usually the rotor here is pretty flush with this, but you can see it's kind of encapsulated a little bit. So that's how they've kind of made it be the same size, and they've put this big back panel on it and brought the whole outer tub this way a little bit, and push the motor out to the back a little bit. So that's probably how they made up some of their room with this. So that's kind of interesting. Overall, I like the unit. I really do like the unit because it has a lot of the LG characteristics, and they do build a great washer. They build a great dryer. My only concern really is with the heat pump system, but I do like the unit as a whole. So I would definitely read your use and care manual. We won't make that mistake again. Make sure that we know all the features of it before we get some wrong conclusions on a few things. But if you're looking for one for a laundry room, or like I said, like a casita, somewhere small places, you just need an extra washer and dryer. If you don't have the space for a washer and dryer, but you have the space for a washer, this will fit the bill. So give it a look at, and if you're looking at a unit like this.
Comment below if I should put this in my closet or just replace my current set.
this is what I deal with when I go to other people's homes. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, it still works.